Hello, this tutorial is for a friend of mine that asked me to teach her how to crochet, and I will start by showing a chain foundation and how to make a single crochet and a double crochet. So Tracy, this is for you. You better practice because I will quiz you. All right, we're gonna need a ball of yarn and a crochet hook. And the first thing we need to learn is how to do a slip knot. So the easiest way to do it is wrap the yarn around your thumb or any of your fingers for that matter. You can do it this way. See? And your goal is to pass this end that is attached to the ball through the loop you have on your finger. This way. So I'm just gonna go underneath, pass the yarn through, and there it is. Have a slip knot. And if I pull both ends of the yarn, I can make the loop as big or as small as I want. So this is key. Let's do it again. So the angle of my camera is a little bit awkward. So this is my finger. Wrap the yarn. See how you have the short end here? Wrap the yarn around your index finger over the short end of the yarn and pass it underneath through the loop. See? And that will create a slip knot. And that way you can put this loop on your needle, and just by pulling one of both of the ends, see, you can make it the size you need. So now it's the size I need for my crochet hook. Now, in order to make a chain, our goal is to pass this yarn that is attached to the ball, to the main ball, through the loop that is on the hook. And there's many ways to do that. You can hold your needle this way, or you can hold your hook this way. It doesn't matter. Just find the way you feel more comfortable. And your goal is to pass through this loop the yarn that you have attached to the ball. So, in order to do that, you're going to do a yarn over. You're going to put the yarn over your needle. See? And your hook. And your hook should be facing down a little bit. Otherwise, it will get stuck when it's trying to pass through. So, hook a little bit down, facing down, yarn over, hold the tail or the knot, the slip knot you just made, so it keeps the tension of the loop, otherwise it's going to tighten it and you're not going to be able to pass the yarn through. So grab the yarn with the hook and pass it through. Again, yarn over, hold the tail, pass through. Yarn over, hold the tail, pass through. You can do it this way too. This is how I feel more comfortable, but you have to find the way you feel more comfortable. And I usually hold the tail with my right hand and yarn over with the left, pass through. See? So let's do it the other way around because I know my friend Tracy feels more comfortable that way. So hold your hook. You can either hold the tail with your right or with your left. Just remember the left is always going to feed the yarn over. So you need to have it free somehow. You need to let the needle do the work also. So see how I grab this, or I can do this and then hold the tail. So pass through. Please don't do this and manually pass the loop over the yarn, because it would take you too long. When you need to work other stitches, that's gonna get in the way. So let's keep doing this. Yarn over, pass through, yarn over, hook slightly down, pass through, yarn over, pass through, yarn over, pass through, yarn over, pass through, yarn over, pass through, and keep working like this until you get it right. Now, in order to make a single crochet, you will poke. See how the chains have like a little hole in the middle, in the V's? So you're gonna poke through that little hole in it. That will be one stitch. So make sure you don't poke twice in the same hole, or you're gonna be actually increasing stitches. So I will not poke the very first one, because that will become my first stitch. I will poke the second one. So see here you can see my little hole there. So poke through, and it's the same thing. You can yarn over this way, you can yarn over this way, it doesn't matter, as it works for you. The goal is to pass this yarn over through the chain hole. See? And you see how I have 2 loops. Again, yarn over, and I'm going to pass this through the 2 loops. Make sure you didn't leave any loop, or you will be increasing again. In other words, poke through. See how you have 1 loop already on the needle? You need to put another loop on the needle, and that's yarn over, pass through. You have 2 loops. Yarn over, pass through the 2 loops. Don't do this because you're creating an extra stitch. So yarn over, pass through. And each of this, as you can see the chains on top. Each of this is 1 stitch. It's a little V also. So you made 1 stitch out of 2 loops. So all crochet is loops and yarn over. Once you get that down, it's easy. It's just practice, find the way you feel more comfortable holding your needle. And for example, if I need more tension, because I tend to crochet very loosely, so I need to wrap the yarn around my fingers a couple of times in order to get the amount of the right tension. So I'm gonna keep going this way. See, I found the center of my chain, poke through the center of the chain, yarn over, pass through. I have 2 loops, yarn over, pass through both of them, and then with one, we always end up with 1 loop on the needle. So I'm gonna do it the best the way I feel more comfortable. So poke through, yarn over, through, 2 loops, yarn over, through the 2 loops. And that's how I crochet, but in order to show you in the camera, it's easier to do it this way. So again, poke through, find the center of your chain. I found the center of my chain right here, poke through, yarn over, pass through the center of the chain, end up with 2 loops, yarn over, pass the through loops, poke through, yarn over, pass through, 2 loops, yarn over, pass through the through loop. 2 loops, I'm sorry. So see, each of this is a stitch. So the way you're gonna count it is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I have 6 stitches on my work, and you already work a foundation chain and single crochets. So now I'm going to show you how to do the double crochet. So we have it for the next lesson already. So I'm going to turn my work here, and I will I will chain one, because double crochets are a little bit taller in height than single crochets. So in order for me to reach the height of the next stitch, this is going to be my first stitch, so I'm going to chain one. How do I do that? It's the same way as you do it from the beginning. Yarn over through the loop, and you created a chain, and that's going to be your first double crochet, my first stitch. So now to make a double crochet, instead of poking right through, see this little, now you cannot see chains because you have actual stitches, so you poke through these holes you see here in between each little single crochet. So in this case, to make a double crochet, I want to make it higher, taller. So in order to do that, I will wrap over before I poke through the center of my stitch. Before, remember, we were doing this, just from the hook, not wrapping everything around it, just poke through. That would make another single crochet, but I want a double crochet. So double crochet means that I will start with a wrap or the yarn over. See? Hold it if you don't feel comfortable this way, and then poke through the first hole you see, and same thing as the other one. Yarn over through the hole, and you end up with 3 loops. Now again, it's the same thing, but in this case, you're gonna yarn over, just like single crochet pass. If you want to hold this so you don't get it confused, you need to pass this yarn through these 2 loops and leave this one on the hook. So pass it through, I grab it this way, and you have to end up with 2 loops, and then you yarn over and pass through both loops, and see how this is taller than the ones below. So in other words, we're making these little guys here, we're giving them more height, so they look better, right? When we want to take less time creating a piece of fabric, instead of making these little ones that are going to take us longer, we can double the size of them. So again, you have 1 loop on the hook, yarn over, find your next hole, see, on the stitch below. Hold this if you don't feel comfortable. Hold it and poke through, and then again yarn over and pull the yarn through. And your goal is, instead of having 2 loops on the needle, you're gonna have 3. Yarn over, pass through 2, see, and then yarn over, pass through 2. So this is the way it goes. Yarn over, poke through the center, bring the yarn through the hole, end up with 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pass through 2, you end up with 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pass through 2, and that will create your double crochet stitch. So yarn over, find the hole, pass, yarn over again, pass it through, 3 loops, yarn over, 2 loops, yarn over, yarn over, 1 loop. So again, yarn over through the center, pass yarn through, 3 loops, yarn over, 2 loops, yarn over, 1 loop, and we keep going the same way. Yarn over, 3 loops, yarn over, 2 loops, yarn over, 2 loops. See, count your stitches and make sure that you have the same amount that you cast on, like when you started. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We started here with more, but I just made 6 single crochets, and I have 6 double crochets. And if you want to go back to single crochets, do the same. Turn your work. This is your first stitch because we're going back to the little guys. Poke through, sorry, see how you can still see the hole there? Poke through the hole, yarn over, pass through, 2 loops, yarn over, pass through, 1 loop. See? Poke through the hole, yarn over, 2 loops, yarn over, 1 loop. Let me get more yarn here. You can also go back to the double crochet if you wanted to. Yarn over, poke through, yarn over, through, 3 loops, yarn over, 2 loops, yarn over, 1 loop. And you see how I am going to change the height of the work. I started like with shorter, I go higher, and then I can go back to a single crochet. See, no yarn over, single crochet, poke through, yarn over, through, 2 loops, yarn over, 1 loop. And see, I made like a little wave there, so I can keep going this way. And I can even finish with a double crochet. Yarn over, poke through, pull through, 3 stitches, yarn over, through 2, yarn over, 1. And you're all set, and the sky is the limit. You can turn your work, keep going with single crochets. Then you can make like a row single crochets, turn your work, go back and do a row of double crochets. See, looking for, make sure that if you put 1 stitch here, you don't go again and put it in the same place, because you're gonna be increasing. See, that you have 2 in 1 stitch, and that's gonna make your work bigger than it is really intended, unless you want to do it that way to create a garment when you need to increase for the chest area or decrease for the waist area, but that's a different story, and that will depend on what you would like to do. Try to create loose stitches at the beginning so you don't have a problem passing the yarn through, because I'll show you. If this is too tight, then I go in, try to pass the yarn through, and then when I go yarn over, I'm gonna have a hard time. And see how it decreases the size of the stitch? I'll try to do that again. Poke through, yarn over, and see. And if my hook is facing up, it's gonna get stuck. So I'm gonna try to pass it through and see how I've encountered resistance when doing it. Try to make sure that your yarn is loose. Poke through, yarn over, through, 2 loops, yarn over, 2 loose loops, and yeah, 1 left. So this is the end of the tutorial. I hope you like it. I hope you practice, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye.